Hello Internet! What I would like to do in this video is show you the Pengo 4K HDMI grabber. The company kindly sent me this last week for review, and in this video I would like to do an unboxing, and then I'll pick it up in a few days and do some tests and give you my overall opinion of it. If I show you the box, you'll get a better idea of what this is all about. 4K HDMI grabber, USB 3.0 UVC, 4K at 60 frames per second, Windows, Mac OS and Linux. Now, UVC USB video class is a fantastic feature. It's what I'm using right now. The Mazewell USB capture device that I'm using to record this footage as we speak with this camera is USB. And what it effectively means is plug and play. You don't need software. When you connect it up, it just works. It works like a webcam. That is a feature I like, and I do like the fact that it does work with Mac OS and Linux. But to show you the box again, look at that feature, 4K at 60 frames per second. Now, as you can see, it's in the box. I haven't tested this yet. I have no idea what this is like, but I have looked at some reviews. I have looked at comments. This was released earlier on in the year, and one of the things that everyone pointed out was this doesn't grab footage at 4K at 60 frames per second. It doesn't. What it does do is support 4K pass-through, which means that if you're recording at 4K, for example, from your PlayStation 4 Pro or your Xbox One X, you can play at 4K, but 1080p is what is captured. That's what is known as 4K pass-through. And it's the same with recording with a 4K camera. But yeah, it really is a 4K pass-through. Again, I've not tested this, but I've got no reason to disbelieve what everyone has said earlier on in the year. Now, if I jump over to my browser, you can see that the Amazon listings now say 4K HDMI pass-through grabber, game capture card, 1080p at 60 frames a second, no driver, works with Windows, Mac OS, no latency, live stream for Xbox One, $130 in the USA right now, and £120 here in the UK. Now, one of the features that will show you a lot, it shows you on the box, is 444 video output, and this refers to color compression, chroma subsampling. I'll leave a link to this article. I don't claim to be an expert on this, but I know the basics of it is basically about file compression, and 444 is the best one, but then you go down to 422, 420, and depending on the type of media that you're playing, it shows you how much it's affected by that. So if you're watching a movie and something has been reduced in bandwidth, the file has been reduced, then it's not going to be a major issue. But if you're playing on your PC, if you're using your PC, you're playing a game, color compression, file compression is something that you might notice. But apparently this does support 444 video, but we shall see. So what I'd like to do at this point is unbox it. So if I jump over to my overhead camera, we can get this open, we can see what it's all about, and yeah, we'll get a better idea as to what the Pengo 4K HDMI grabber can do. Maybe just put a little finger over this part. Put a little finger here so that you don't see that. Yeah, so it's English and what's the other, French it looks like, or something. You can see in the back here what the device is like. It's got an HDMI port for looping out. One goes to your monitor, but it's also got a mic in port and an audio output port as well. So you've got a mic port, speaker port, audio input, audio output. So let's get this open. So here we have the Pengo capture device itself. Actually looks really good. This thing is tiny, certainly when compared to an Elgato HD60. It's much smaller. You can see the mic input port there, the headphone port or speaker port, and at the back you have your USB 3.0 type A input and your loop out. So that is what would go to your television. That is what would come from your games console, or what, your camera, whatever you want to record. So we've also got a manual here. Quite a nice manual actually, not too bad. Shows you how to work it. Thank you card. And then we have the USB cable. Now, I don't normally see that as type A to type A. Normally it's type A to type C or type A to micro B or something. This is type A to type A. Not a problem. I mean, it's kind of irrelevant if it's type A on the other end anyway. And yeah, it would just go in like this. So at this point, I haven't tested it yet. I've only unboxed it. But my first impressions are positive. It's built very well. It's a kind of hard shell there. Quite a nice design, I think. Quite a nice design, minimal branding. And the addition of the mic input port and the headphone input port at the front, yeah, it's all good. I'll generally record my microphone and all that separately. I don't really need these ports if I'm honest, but when it comes to recording, I'm always for additional ports. It always gives you a little bit more flexibility when it comes to recording and how you record. The USB cable is very well made. It's a thick cable and you can see the Pengo branding there, upside down. I'll get it there eventually. Looks good, but well, you can see the problem there. It's too short. Now, this won't be a major problem for everyone, and isn't really a major problem anyway, because it's very easy to go out and buy another USB 3.0 to 3.0 type A to type A cable. That isn't too expensive. You can pick them up fairly cheap, but yeah, I wish they put in a longer cable. My Elgato, for example, the USB cable stretches all the way to the other side of the desk. For a laptop, this wouldn't be an issue, but my PC is over there, the other side of the desk. It's underneath the table, which means that if I was to input a mic or headphones or anything, I'd have to do it at the back of the table. But again, it's not a deal breaker. You can replace these very, very easily. So yeah, it's hard to criticize them too much for that. So what I'm going to do, guys, is take a few days, test this, see what I like, see what I don't like, and I will come back in a few seconds for you and yeah, tell you how it all works. So the previous clips that you saw there were recorded 6 days ago, and over the last 6 days I have been testing the Pengo sporadically. It's not there, it's actually connected to my PC right now, but I have been testing it over the last week, and by sporadically I mean that rather than testing everything in the one day, I have been, putting things in and out with the USB cables and HDMI cables every now and then to check how this got on, just to see how it performed. For example, this camera uses the Magewell USB capture card, which is excellent. And what I would do is take the Pengo, swap over the HDMI cables to the Pengo, and then use the Pengo instead. And it allowed me to compare the pictures. Now, I did that with the overhead camera with the Cam Link. I did it with this, with the Magewell, and I did it with the Elgato HD60 S for recording games. Now, at the start of the week, the other thing I was testing was, well, does this record 4K at 60 frames per second? And I downloaded the pop player that they recommended, and I also downloaded their application, which if you look here, if I can get it for you, there, all this really does is tell you, you can see it there, 4K grabber, video, 444, input, output. Now it's 1080p right now because it's plugged in to my Nintendo Switch, but that would tell you the output resolution. But this is the most pointless application ever, really. It really doesn't help you in any way, so it's getting closed. But one of the things I was trying to test with the application and all that was, does this record 4K at 60 frames per second? Because everyone said it does not, but of course I wanted to test this for myself. And everyone's right. Everyone's right. It says that it's 4K at 60 frames per second. No, this captures 1080p, but if you look in the manual, it kind of tells you this. I don't know how I missed this before. If I jump over to my browser, you can see that it's got output resolution up to 4K 60Hz via HDMI, up to 1080p 60Hz via USB. So what they're saying here is you can capture up to 1080p and you can output 4K via HDMI. And again, that basically means this is a 1080p capture device, but it's got 4K pass-through. 4K pass-through, so if you're recording via the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4 Pro, you can play your games at 4K but record or stream at 1080p. That's what that means. I don't know why they went down this route of trying to mislead people, because that is extremely misleading. Extremely misleading. Look at that, 4K 60 frames per second. Even calling it a 4K HDMI grabber is a pack of lies. So I don't like the way the company have done that. And I don't like companies that try and mislead people. So it's a little bit misleading. I don't know why they didn't just say 1080p, 4K pass through, because that is still great. That's still great. So this is, you know, about 120 or so in the UK. It's about £30-40 cheaper than the AverMedia equivalent, about 60 or so cheaper than the Elgato equivalent. So being a little bit cheaper, a lot of people might look towards this to buy it. But it is quite hard for me to recommend this because I can't recommend it. It's so far from me, it has been very, very unreliable. When I first tested it with my overhead camera, it was stuttering a little bit. Then I tested it again and it was working fine. So I thought, okay, must have been the camera, it must have been something else. Must have been something with the settings, or plugged it into the wrong USB port. There was something wrong. And it was the same with the other camera. It seemed to be working okay. But today, I spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours trying to get it working with my Nintendo Switch. Initially, it was recording the video and the audio, but what was happening was it was stuttering. It was kind of stopping every now and then, which is very annoying from a playing point of view, but from a recording point of view, well, it's unusable. You couldn't stream or you couldn't record that footage for anyone else on YouTube, etc. because it's unusable, because it's stopping all the time. And I was checking my CPU usage and my CPU is at like 50%. I'm like, what is going on here? Why is it stuttering? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. I plugged into a different USB port. I tried a few different things. Right now, the problem I've got is actually different. I can see my Nintendo Switch here. I can see Tetris 99 in the background here. And yeah, nothing's happening here. Now before, if I deactivate it and activate it again, so now it's not playing audio. Now previously, before I started this, it was playing audio and it wasn't showing the picture. But now it's not doing either. Now again, this might be a settings thing, but I have messed about with lots of different settings all morning and I can't get it to work 100% of the time. It keeps throwing up different problems. Firstly, it was stuttering, then it was the videos not displaying, and now the audio, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to be playing, and I don't know if it's went to sleep or something. It sounds stupid, but maybe that's the reason. But again, one of the things that did attract me to this was the fact it's got UVC, USB video class. And the reason I like that is because it's plug and play. You're eliminating software, you're eliminating any kind of problems that can arise. But I've had nothing but problems with this today, at least, and the other day. A little bit sporadic the other day, a little bit kind of irregular. It was working, then it wasn't working. But really, what I want with my setup, I want everything to work. I've got this camera here. I've got my browser, my webcam, it works. I've got my overhead camera. And I've got my game, which is not capturing right now because I'm recording via the Pengo. But the point is, my setup, everything I'm using right now works. This does not. Now, I've kind of given you a summary here as to my thoughts, my experience with this over the last few days. But what I like to do now is demonstrate this to you and show you exactly how this performs. So, what I'm going to do is swap out the Pengo for each of my devices. I've got my main camera here. I've got my overhead camera here, my hand moving around. And I've got my game streaming device, the HD60 S, recording my Nintendo Switch. So there's 3 different capture devices, 3 different video capture devices. And they're all actually different. I've got the Mazewell USB, I've got the Cam Link, and then I've got the Elgato HD60 S. So what I'm going to do is take out each one by one, put in the Pengo in the same USB port, and we're going to look at the quality of the footage and we'll see what is going on. So, for reference, right now I am recording with my Mazewell, I'm recording with my Sony Alpha 6500, but what I'm going to do is start recording this camera with the Pengo. So I'm now capturing footage from my Sony Alpha 6500 using the Pengo 4K HDMI grabber. I simply switched out the Mazewell and I connected the Pengo instead, and I've got the Pengo connected to this camera, and if you look at it, seems okay. Everything seems okay. From a recording point of view, at this point, yes, I'm very happy with it. But I will say, when I connected the Pengo, my computer slowed down. I had to restart, and then it was going really slow again. And then I got the blue screen of death. I restarted it. It was a little bit slow, but now it seems to be okay. In fact, if I show you that, you can see that CPU usage isn't that high. So I can't 100% guarantee that wasn't another PC issue, but you know, a little bit of a telltale sign there that when I connected the Pengo, I had some problems there. So I don't know why that arose there, why those problems arose. But if I show you my monitor, this is my monitor here. And this is the properties. It says at the top, Magewell USB, because that's what I've normally got it set up. But you can see here, device, Pengo HDMI grabber. That is the Pengo HDMI grabber. You can see all the different devices there. And if I go down, you can see that I've just got default resolution 1080p. Color space, I've got it default, but you can see I can change it to 709 or 601. Is the one that changes it a little bit. I just leave it default. I've tried a few different settings and I haven't noticed a massive difference, if I'm honest. I haven't noticed a massive difference. It seems to be working okay in that respect. Everything seems to be plug and play, as kind of plug and play. But what I would like to do at this point is show you the overhead camera. So right now, my overhead camera here is being powered with the Cam Link. And I've got the Elgato HD60 S powering the games. So that is working now. But if I go over to the overhead camera here, go over to the overhead camera and I can zoom in, I can zoom out. This is my Sony RX10 Mark II. It's not too bad with autofocus. It has problems sometimes if there's a few different things on screen, but yeah, you can see it's okay. There's no stuttering or anything like that. I have had some problems with this in the past where, you know, sometimes you have to take out the USB and put it back in. It's very occasional though. I'm talking every few weeks, but you can see that, yeah, the Cam Link seems to be working okay. If I you know, move around, there's no stuttering, there's no problems there, absolutely nothing at all there. Everything seems to be working okay. So yeah, it works. So what I would like to do at this point is swap over the Pengo again. I'm going to put the Magewell back in for this camera. I'm going to take the Cam Link out and put the Pengo on for that. So I'll be connecting the Pengo, the HDMI cable from this camera here, my overhead camera, and I will be connecting it to the Pengo, and we'll see how it performs. So my Magewell USB capture device is now recording this camera again, my Sony Alpha-6500. The Elgato continues to capture my gaming, but I have connected the Pengo to my overhead camera, and I took out the Cam Link. In fact, is that the right way? There, it's there. That is the Cam Link. That is what was recording before. That's what was recording my overhead camera before. And now the Pengo is recording and seems to be okay. You can see some lines there. Can you see some lines at the top there? I'm not sure if you guys are seeing that. At the top of, I'm seeing some lines on the screen there. That's not a good sign. There's like a big blue line at the top. It looks like CRT television or something at the top there. Maybe it's going away now. It seems to be going away now. But as far as stuttering and anything like that, moving around here, it seems to be capturing it okay. You notice there, I hope that came out in the camera there, but there was a lot of kind of blue lines at the top of the screen there. Hopefully you guys can see that as well. But for the most part, you know, you can imagine me doing an unboxing here. I am using the Pengo here to capture it, and seems okay. Seems okay. So I still have to see that footage, but when I was looking at it there on OBS, there was like a blue line at the top of the screen. Hopefully you guys saw that as well. And, you know, it's one of those things, I think if you look at it, for the most part, it actually looks okay. It's not like it looks grainy. It doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look like it's anything different there. Everything seems to be okay. Everything seems to be okay there. Yep. So, yeah, no crashes there, no blue screen of death. I did get some lines there at the top. I'm not sure if that is being shown to you guys. I'm not sure if that was captured, but I would say that with my camera and with, well, both my cameras, my Sony Alpha-6500, my Sony RX10 Mark II, both of these seem to be working quite well with the Pengo. So, now we have the hard disk test. Now, you've probably noticed that, you know, so far I haven't tested the audio, but that is something I will be testing now when I connect it up to my gaming systems. And that is something I'm going to be testing now. Now, just for reference, this is the Nintendo Switch. And I'll put the audio down a little bit. It's maybe a little bit high just now, isn't it? So I have turned down the audio slightly, but I also paused the recording because I wanted to check that footage, and you can see that line at the top. When the Pengo was connected to the overhead camera, you did see that at the top there, so that isn't good. I've never seen that with any other capture device before, but there you go. But I did see a little bit of slowdown there with my Elgato, so that's a little bit strange as well. I don't normally see that. I don't know if that is a problem with the Elgato or perhaps because the Pengo is connected. I don't know, but this is the thing. You've got a lot of things connected, a lot of things can go wrong, but so far it does seem to be that when you put the Pengo into my setup, when you put it into the mix with different cameras, problems do seem to be arising. I don't know why, but I just want to show you this. This is the Elgato HD60 S, and this is Tetris 99. Now, I have had minor problems with the Elgato HD60 S in the past. Normally, 99% of the time, you plug it out, you plug it back in, take the USB cable out and in, you know, just take it out, put it back in, everything is okay. And again, the HD60 S is not plug and play, you do need the software for it, but for the most part, it's okay. It is okay, but you can see that it's capturing the audio. If you just try to pay attention at the back here, you can see that even just the circles in the background are moving quite smoothly. So yeah, this is the game. I'm not really going to play this properly. I'll just play. It's just enough to show you what this would be like if I'm playing the game. Like that. So pay attention to the quality of the footage here as far as the audio. The audio seems to be in sync. Don't seem any problems. Obviously you guys can't see that. But I'm just going to go down. I'm going to die here. Just pay attention. For the most part, I've never had any problems with this. I've never had any major problems. Certainly when it's activated, it always works. It's nothing that happens during a recording. It's always getting it activated, getting it set up, making sure the audio and all that is synced. But there was a little bit of slowdown before. I'm not sure why that happened before. I've never saw that before. Again, I'm not trying to blame the Pengo for that because it was the Elgato that did have that problem, but you can see that it seems okay. So what I'm going to do at this point is, if I can do this. Oh, now the Stream Deck is not working. Elgato, what are you doing? The Stream Deck has stopped working. So what I'm going to do at this point is put the Pengo in. So you've got an idea of what the Elgato HD60 S can do when it's capturing game footage, but I need to show you the Pengo now, and I want to test the audio and the video quality, and then after that we can then look at the microphone headphone inputs, which so far when I tested it didn't seem to work, but we can try that again. So let's swap things around and we'll get the Pengo connected to my Nintendo Switch. So fast forward another 20 minutes, I do have the Pengo connected. It is recording my Nintendo Switch and my PlayStation 4, which I've switched on. And the reason I've spent 20 minutes trying to get to this point is that once again, there are a few gremlins. Now, the first, I don't know if you would call it a problem, but the first thing I noticed was that I couldn't connect via the same USB port. Previously, I connected the Pengo for this camera into the exact same USB port that the Magewell used. For my overhead camera, I connected the Pengo to the same one that the Camlink was in. And that was on purpose, by design. I wanted to keep everything the same so that I could isolate the Pengo and, you know, make sure I wasn't introducing anything else that could be causing problems. But for whatever reason, OBS wouldn't recognize Pengo when I plugged it into the USB port I normally use for my Elgato. No problem. I plugged it into the USB port above and it worked. So I started doing some audio tests and it seemed okay. I was looking at it, audio fine, video fine, everything seems okay. Then I played back the clip and it was all stuttery. So again, giving the Pengo the benefit of doubt, I restarted my computer and it's now working. But again, there's a few gremlins here. The first one being, if you jump over to my overhead camera, look at this. Now, I have never seen the cam link ever do that. This is not a bandwidth issue. This is nothing to do with the cam link. This is because the Pengo has, for whatever reason, introduced more problems into my system. And this seems to be a running theme now where I connect the Pengo and something bad happens. Something happens that shouldn't be happening. And I don't know why, but I've had several different problems today, and it always seems to be whenever the Pengo is connected. When I take the Pengo out of the equation, everything works perfectly. Now, if I go over to this, I can let you guys see what happens here. Now, as I said previously, when I was first recording this, the audio was playing through my headphones perfectly, displaying perfectly, but when I played the clip back, it was like stuttery. It was stuttery again. But I did a quick test there. Hopefully you guys are hearing it okay. Hopefully it isn't a problem. And yeah, let me know what you think. Now, right now, looking at I'm looking at OBS to the left here, guys, and I'm just looking at the quality of the footage. Looks okay. I've messed around a little bit with the settings. I've also messed around a lot with the audio. At first, the audio wasn't coming through. To me, it didn't sound loud enough, but I don't know. I've got to set it -30 just like before. So I'm going to do a quick game. I just want to get some movement here so that you can see what's going on. So maybe doubler there. And at the end of the day, I know some people might buy this to capture footage from a camera, and that's what I've demonstrated so far, but I think most people would be buying this to capture something from a game streaming device, PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, etc, etc. So let me know what you think. Pay attention to the audio, pay attention to the video. Let me know what you think about all this. I'm going to end it again. And what I'm going to do, go back. You can see I've downloaded a few games. I'm going to show you Mario Odyssey. And again, this is just another demonstration as to what this capture device can do. I love this game. Mario's great. It really is good. Across the board, I don't know why it's doing this. It just seems to be introducing so many problems. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. It's the fact that none of these problems are consistent. That's the thing that's throwing me. Yeah, that's the thing that's kind of strange, And, you saw that earlier. Earlier where my Elgato, the footage was a little bit jumpy. But now that I've seen the cam link doing the same thing, I am thinking that this is a problem with the Pengo. I think that's a problem with the Pengo. I don't think that was a problem with the Elgato, because I've never seen the Elgato do that before. Yeah, the Elgato, sometimes you'll connect, it doesn't connect audio, even though you've set it up the exact same way. You need to deactivate it or restart or do something like that. But I've never seen any problem like that. And it seems to be that, yeah, there seems to be that the Pengo not only causes problems on its own, it seems to be causing problems with my whole setup. Now, I've got an HDMI switcher here, so what I'm going to do is switch over to the PlayStation 4. Now, you probably realise that you can't hear any audio, and I've noticed this as well. When I change, I need to basically deactivate it and then activate it again. Not a major problem, but I've noticed that with the Elgato, I can switch between my systems with HDMI. I don't have to reset anything. It just works. Audio is the same. I don't have to reset anything. I don't have to change anything. For whatever reason with the Pengo, it seems to be when I change from the Switch to the PlayStation 4, when I change it back, I have to go back in and change the audio setting and then change it back. Is this an OBS problem? Well, probably not, because everything else seems to be working with the OBS. This does seem to be a problem with the Pengo. Now, I wanted to show you this. I showed you a platform, I showed you a puzzle game. I want to show you this now. Now, looking at OBS, you could probably examine these really closely. I could show you this in the Elgato HD60 S, etc. But for me, this isn't the main problem here. When it's actually connected, and this is one thing I will say about this, when this is actually connected, it seems to be recording okay. I don't have any stuttering now. I got that previously. I don't have any stuttering. I don't have any... Well, I don't think I've got any audio issues. Obviously, I've not heard it back yet. But... seems to be okay. I probably should have the audio a little bit better. A little bit louder, sorry. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put the audio up. Let's put the audio up. A little bit louder. Because I think it was low before. I don't mind audio being a little bit quieter between the Pengo and I don't mind things being a little bit quieter because you can turn that up. You know, it's a setting issue rather than a capture device issue. Some devices will run hotter than others when it comes to audio. That's, you know, just the nature of things. So that's not a major problem for me. You know, I'm looking over at OBS here to see what you guys are saying, and it seems okay. You know, this is the thing. It seems okay. There you go. I'm so glad I caught that in camera. I reviewed the Mega Drive Mini yesterday. I was recording gameplay for it, and like 3-4 games in a row, I was just terrible. Every game. I was terrible at Street Fighter. I was terrible at Sonic. I was terrible at every game I played. So for once, it's good to turn on a game and capture something that shows me I'm not the world's worst gamer. Ah, double kill. I'm dead now. I don't know where they are. I'm just going to throw it out. So, this was just a silly game with bots. What I'll do now, if I can, let's see if I can find another game. Perhaps a driving game. So here is Drive Club. And this will show you how it handles a driving game. Now, what I was doing there when I was loading up, because it closed the other application and all that, I ran round and I plugged my headphones into the headphone port, and I was actually quite impressed. The audio does come through the headphone port. So, yeah, the headphone jack does seem to be working okay. Absolutely no issues there. Yeah, no problems there. The one thing I do have to test before I kind of give you guys a summary is the microphone. When I tested it before, I could not get it working. So that is something I do want to test for you guys, and I think it is something that is important to test. It's the one thing I've not tested yet. So, here we go. Drive Club. I've not played this in a while. Oh, I've done it with gears, haven't I? Oh, there we go. You know why? The last time I played this with my driving seat. So I had it set with the gears. I can't even remember how you play this with the gears with the joystick. I'm not used to playing this with the Play Seat Challenge. I don't even know what the buttons are here. Right, that goes down a gear. Right. Seems okay. Quality seems okay. Thing is, you can overanalyze this stuff. I've looked at a lot of comparison videos between different capture devices, and I know some are coming out now with HDR, like the Elgato HD60 S Plus has HDR, but you really do have to look for the details. You really do have to look for the differences between them. But so far, I think this is handling the game, you know, looking at the footage there in OBS, everything looks the way that it should look. Need to go up the gears here. I need to go up the gears. Go on. I don't want to finish last before I switch off. Get to 7th and then I'll switch off. Change the gear. Change the gear again. Get to 7th. Get to 7th. Here we go. I'm catching up with the pack. What can I get to here? 5th place here. 5th place. And I'm first. You saw it, guys. You saw it. I was first there. I was first. So, the gaming footage there actually looked okay, in my opinion. I thought it was okay. Overall, I think, yeah, teething problems aside, and it's important to put that to the side as a separate issue. If you're just talking about gameplay, when you do get it set up, again, it's plug and play. There's no software to install. The thing that I installed earlier was to just check the Pengo software, is just to check the input and output resolution. But when you've actually got it set up and activated in OBS, when you've got it working, seems to work quite well. There wasn't any stuttering there, but again, I do seem to be having a problem. Look at that, my overhead camera. Now, it is important to say that most people who capture game footage, I would say the majority of people that do capture game footage, they've probably just got the Pengo connected to their PlayStation 4 or the Nintendo Switch or Xbox One, and then they've got a webcam. They don't have 3 cameras and the capture device. They've got something like a Logitech the 922 or the Brio, which I've got. They've got something like that. They've got the capture device. Mine's is a unique situation, but it is worth pointing all of this out because I don't normally have these problems. So what I'd like to do at this point, I'm going to switch the Elgato back in. I'm going to bring the Pengo to the front of my computer because I want to test the microphone port, and this will be my last test. The headphones work. When you plug it in, I could hear the gameplay through the device. That's actually quite a useful little thing to have. There's going to be certain recording situations where it's good to hear the audio through the Pengo. Granted, the Pengo's got a short USB cable, but it is good to have the audio cable there. So what I'd like to do at this point is test the microphone port. Let's see if I can get the microphone port to work. So all my usual capture devices are now connected back up to my PC. I've got the Mazewell USB capture device recording this footage through my Sony Alpha 6500. I've got the cam link with my overhead camera. The stuttering has gone, and I have the Elgato HD60 S handling the game streaming. So yeah, that's handling that, and it's handling it all, well, as usual, very well. But I also have the Pengo connected here, and you should be able to see the little blue light there. So I've connected it to my Thunderbolt dock. I don't have anything connected video-wise. I don't have anything connected via HDMI, but all you need is the USB connection to test the microphone and headphone ports. They will still work. And the microphone input, it will come up, once this is connected to your computer, this will come up on OBS or any other software you're using as a microphone input. Now, you're not hearing anything just now, but I have the Rode Video Micro and I have a TRS cable, which is important. If you use TRRS, which is what is used with smartphones, it will not work. But with a TRS connection, you're going to hear me in stereo here. And now you can hear me through my Shure and through the Rode Video Micro, which is going through the Pengo. But you probably hear that you're hearing me in stereo. There's a little bit of latency there. There's a little bit of latency. So that could be a problem if you're recording. So I have my Shure here as well. I don't have this on a tripod just now, but I really just want to demonstrate this again. I'm doing it on the fly. I know that's annoying, but yeah, you'll be hearing me in stereo because I have this plugged through the Pengo. Now, I haven't tested that too much. As far as I've tested that it works. There does seem to be a little bit of a latency issue. You may be able to sort that in OBS with delays and things like that, but it does seem to work. As far as the microphone input, it works, and the headphone port does work as well. So when everything is set up, when you do get it set up, the mic input works, the headphone jack works, and the HDMI in and out all work at 1080p at 60 frames per second. So at this point, what I would like to do is summarize my thoughts of the Pengo 1080p HDMI grabber. This is not 4K. Summarize my thoughts and give you an overview as to how I feel about this. Now, of course, this has been a long video. I wanted to do a detailed video for anyone who was very close to buying this, people who wanted to see exactly how this worked. But for everyone else, you've maybe jumped ahead to this point of the video. So, kudos to the company. First of all, I'll get that out of the way. Kudos to the company. They did send this product to me free of charge. I do appreciate that. I have a small YouTube channel. I don't have millions of subscribers. So I do appreciate the company sending this to me for testing. And I am aware that when people see YouTubers like myself getting, products sent free of charge, they might take the end result, the overall opinion with a pinch of salt. But sometimes I get things sent free of charge and I love them. I got a green screen sent the other week by New Year and it's fantastic. I love it. And if they didn't send me it, I would have bought it. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it and I'm really happy with it. Can I recommend the Pengo? No. I cannot. Not in any shape or form. Stay clear, guys. Do not buy this. I cannot stress this enough. Do not buy this. This will give you nothing but headaches, nothing but problems. Now, I have looked at some other reviews of this just to get an idea as to how other people were going with this. Certainly through the week when I was checking it and going, why am I getting so many problems with this? There are other people that have got this to work and they don't seem to be having as many problems as me. But I, as I have demonstrated, I have had a lot of different problems. And the strange thing is that all the problems were unique. One point, the overhead camera was stuttering through the week when I was recording. When I plugged it in today for the footage that I recorded today, there was like a line at the top of it at the start. I don't know why. Then the problems this morning I had where it wasn't capturing audio correctly and then it wasn't capturing video. Restarted the computer, I got it all working, and as I showed you there, when it works, it actually works quite well. The audio was good, the video quality was good. I think from a video point of view, a video capture point of view, I was very happy with the way that it captured footage from my camera, this camera, my overhead camera, and from my Nintendo Switch and the PS4. But the problem is getting there. When you connect this to your computer, you will introduce a lot of gremlins into the system. You will introduce a lot of problems. And the whole point of UVC is that it's plug and play, that you don't need software. And I didn't need software for this, but what I do need to do is every time I connect this, I need to change a ton of settings. And every time I connect it, is different things I need to change. One time the audio is working, then it's the video not working. And it's not just that. Now, as I said earlier, there's going to be some people that just connect this and then use a webcam, and maybe their mileage will be a little bit better. Maybe they won't run into any problems. But as you saw, when I introduced the Pengo into my system, I got problems. Now, right now, I have my camera, I've got my browser and webcam, I've got my overhead camera, I've got my game, and it all works great. Absolutely no problems. Everything works well. It all works all nicely together, all efficiently, absolutely no problems. As soon as I connect this Pengo to the system, I get a lot of problems. I got blue screen of death. I got my computer was stuttering at one point. That's why I had to restart. There was a few times where it was going really slow. And I was actually checking the battery in my mouse. I'm like, what is going on here? And the CPU usage wasn't high. The CPU was just at the same level as usual. But for whatever reason, whenever I connect this Pengo device to my computer, I got nothing but problems. And when you're recording, and certainly when you're streaming, you can't mess around with stuff like that. You don't want to be messing around, playing around with settings and all that. As far as the devices that I've got, the Magewell USB for me is the best because it's plug and play, no software, it just always works. The Elgatos, as you can see just now, they work great, but sometimes I do have to kind of restart them to get them working okay. But for the most part, they're always good. Not so with this one. It just seems to be, I don't know, it just seems to cause problems, which is a shame because the headphone port at the front is a nice little addition. The mic in port seems to be a little bit of a latency, but it does seem to be a nice little bonus. And the video and audio, when it's actually captured, is okay. But you can't deal with that. You can't introduce problems like that into your system. Pay a little bit extra. Get something from Elgato or from another reputable company that that develops an HDMI video capture device, they develop something that is more reliable. You don't want something that's going to cause you a headache. Believe me, you do not want that. And I have had a lot of headaches with this. Even today, I spent 2 hours restarting my computer, checking all the USB ports, checking there wasn't any viruses. I did a virus scan at one point because I'm like, there's something wrong here. And it was all caused by this little device. Now, maybe down the line, maybe I will test this with my laptop downstairs. I did test it with my laptop and it seemed okay with the camera, but I've not tested it with games. Maybe I'll use it down the line. Maybe it will work better, but as far as reliability goes, guys, this is not reliable. I cannot recommend it. Pay a little bit more, get something better, get something more reliable. And yeah, thanks to the company. Pengo, if you're ever watching this, I do appreciate you sending me this out. But it's garbage. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I'm sorry, but I don't like it. And everything I do from a recording, from a streaming point of view, is efficiency. It's about switching between different cameras and making sure everything works and works every time. You can't get that with the Pengo. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video review. Hopefully it has helped you make up your mind as to whether you should buy this. Check out some other reviews though, guys. As I always say, don't take everything I say as gospel. Look at some other video reviews and see what other people are saying. But my opinion is that you should not buy this. Until next time, guys, take care.